So we've concluded 2 matches. We now turn our attention to singles, and it is the defending champion, the 2-time defending champion and current world #1, 2-Chong Wei of Malaysia. He's up against Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS of Denmark. Two-time defending champion, but 3 consecutive All-England finals, because of course he was a beaten finalist here at the All-England in 2009, lost out that year to his great rival Lin Dan of China. And of course Lin Dan was the man he beat in the final of the All-England a year ago. Jane Hancock of England, the umpire, has concluded the toss of the coin.
You're going to receive.
And it is very interesting that VITTINGHUS has said that he wanted to change ends and start this near side of the court as we look down. But let's have a look first of all at 2-Chong Wei, born in Georgetown, Penang in Malaysia, the 29-year-old. And look at that win-loss record for the year, 13-0. 2 tournaments played, the Korean Super Series and the Malaysian Super Series, won them both. Incidentally, it was his 8th Malaysian Open title. That really is quite remarkable. Throw into that not only the matches from the individual event, but of course towards the world ranking go team competitions as well. And he was undefeated in his team matches in the Thomas Cup qualifying. Well, first round, he defeated the 2008 World Junior Champion, Wang Changming of China, 2 straight games. And I have to say, I watched that. That was very, very impressive. He looked very smooth, looked very much in control. And as you can see, just 38 minutes to record that victory. So to his opponent, Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS, 26 years of age, from Jutland, and number 17 in the world ranking, up 1 place. And this today, the world rankings run on a Thursday each week, and it's the highest he's ever been in the world ranking. So that's quite an achievement for VITTINGHUS. 7th appearance here at the All-England Championship. On his previous 6 occasions, he's never got past or out of the qualifying rounds. Never even made the main draw. Now look who he beat in the first round yesterday, because if you follow badminton, you will know that Simon Santoso arrived here in Birmingham in great form, because last week at the German Open, he reached the final, losing out to Lin Dan. Well, he needed 3 games to beat him, as you can see, but look how strong he was in that deciding game, just 6 minutes shy of the hour mark. And I can tell you, at the moment of victory, he gave a huge yell. He was absolutely delighted with his performance, and rightly so. He really is a charming young man. This is the first time that they've played against each other, so no previous head-to-head encounters. But VITTINGHUS, 9 career titles, 8 of those international challenger events, just 1 Grand Prix title. That was last year at the Bitburger Grand Prix. Compare that to the world #1, 2-Chong Wei, 41 career titles, including 25 Super Series titles. The most successful man in the Super Series, because of course Lin Dan, well, he's got a measly 16. There's Jane Hancock and Morgan, our court officials for this men's singles 2nd round encounter. Two remarkable athletes.
Ladies and gentlemen, On my left, Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS, Denmark. On my right, 2-Chong Wei, Malaysia. Chong Wei to serve. Love all. Play.
Well, we've known from the start of competition this week that there's been an army of Danish supporters here at the National Indoor Arena in Birmingham. But I can tell you there's a huge number of Malaysian supporters here today as well. Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS, just known as HK to his teammates. Well, he's a hard worker on court, and my goodness, he's going to have to work hard today. It's well taken.
2-1.
But Anthony, to me, VITTINGHUS, his work rate, his court coverage is his strength. He doesn't seem to have deceptive winning shots in the same way as 2-Chong Wei. Of course, as I say that, he hits a beautiful cross-court winner just to prove me wrong. But, you know, in general, I think that 2-Chong Wei is equal to him and possibly, or probably, a better athlete as well. But 2-Chong Wei's got this extra dimension in that he's got extra speed, he's got such deceptive shots, and I'm not sure just playing the physical game for VITTINGHUS is going to be enough.
No, I totally agree, Jill. It's 2-Chong Wei is an absolute privilege to watch at badminton. I had the privilege of watching him train a few years ago, and it was frightening the kind of speed and power that he can move around the court with. The sort of training he was doing, you know, you wouldn't have physically been able to do it. And even though VITTINGHUS is very, very fit guy and very, very fast, I don't think I've ever seen a better athlete on a badminton court than 2-Chong Wei.
Fascinating. Better athlete than Lindan?
I would say so. I would say he's quicker than Lindan. It's just Lindan has that little bit of extra. His shot quality is phenomenal. Probably better than anybody. And the fact that Lindan's left-handed as well makes a big difference with the angles.
Oh, it's just wide. Good judgment from VITTINGHUS.
5-1.
Well, has made an excellent start. And given your comments there, Anthony, it's fascinating to me because there's been debate for years about who is the best player, whether it's Lindan or 2-Chong Wei. 2-Chong Wei, the world #1, but of course lost in that thrilling final of the World Championships last year to Lindan. Of course, Lindan beat the Malaysian both the Asian Games final and the Olympic final. It's a good rally. Oh, that was going wide. Well finished off. And given the debate over the years, what's really fascinating is the build-up to the All-England this year. Peter Gader, who of course this year was playing his 17th All-England, former champion, still at #4 in the world, sadly lost for him yesterday in the first round to Rajiv Usif of England. But Peter Gader said that he thought Lindan was the best badminton player ever. History, period.
It's a hell of a statement when you take on somebody like 2-Chong Wei. 2-Chong Wei generally throughout a year would definitely be considered the best player. He's #1 in the world, and from what you said earlier about his stats of how many tournaments he's won, you would definitely say he's the best player. But in terms of who wins the big ones, now that's when Lindan comes into his own. He just seems to have a mental edge over everybody, and he seems to be able to produce the goods when it really matters.
Well, no doubt the debates will go on.
4-5.
But I have to say, I'm a huge fan of both 2-Chong Wei and Lin Dan, and I think they both have outstanding qualities. And both of them, in my book, are great players. Well, that's a wonderful smash from VITTINGHUS, finding the line. Lars Paulsen, one of the Danish coaches. Oh, my word. The way he constructed that rally, just phenomenal. A little nod of the head from 2-Chong Wei's coach, Tae Se-book.
It's just incredible how he can be so relaxed during a rally, just nonchalantly knocking the shuttle around the court. And then all of a sudden, he just seems to inject this pace that just comes from nowhere. And it just takes his opponent by surprise.
Brilliant.
6-all. 2-Chong Wei.
A new shuttle required. I was having a chat to Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS this morning at the tournament hotel, so I'm in the breakfast room. Very excited about today's match, he was too. No, because of course a year ago he was under threat of being thrown off the programme. Finn Hansen, the man in charge of the Danish elite players, was saying that he really hadn't improved the way he was hoping he was going to improve. And of course last year he reached the quarter-final of the World Championships, VITTINGHUS. And from then on, Mr. Hansen said, OK, now you've braved yourself, you're back on the programme, you can stay. It's a harsh old world, isn't it?
Maybe that was the kick in the right direction that he needed, because ever since that day, I mean, I've seen him play in several tournaments, and he's really impressed me. I mean, his fitness levels are incredible. You know, normally you think of a lot of the Asian players as being the fittest players in the world. He's probably up there with them.
Service over, 7-8.
Yes, and what's so remarkable is that when you think that VITTINGHUS back in 2007, after the Turkey International, he noticed huge swelling on his left knee. And look at the way he's moving now. And it was actually discovered he had a very rare tumour on his left knee. Had to have an operation. He's left with a 16-centimetre scar that he was proudly showing me this morning. And the war wounds, and here he is back in elite badminton. Phenomenal.
It is incredible how players can come back from an injury like that. Tina Rasmussen, another player from Denmark, tore her Achilles. Came back a much, much stronger player. I think when you've had such a terrible injury like those sorts of players have, you have to go away and do the rehab, build your muscles around the area that has a problem. Generally, players do come back a lot better than they were.
You're talking to the converted, Anthony. There we are. There's the wall wounds. Well, I think he's smashed his racket on his leg as well. Yeah, well, delight to see him back on court and delight to see him playing so well.
9-all.
He's landed in. That came back in.
10-9.
There's, of course, a drift in this wonderful arena. Yeah, it looked to me as if it started as if it was going to go out, but then drifted back in. That's short. Perfection, finds the line. 2-Chong Wei doesn't like the call. Hands on hips. I have to say, from our commentary position, we're looking straight down that line. And my initial reaction was that it was a correct call. Yes, it was. Yeah, that confirms it. So, the advantage with the Dane at the mid-game interval. Slender advantage, but psychologically massive.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Thank you.
Well, Klaus Poulsen, Danish coach,
Play.
telling his man to keep positive. Take his chances at the net. I'm surprised by this, Anthony, because the number of times I've watched 2-Chong Wei, and, you know, it's not so unusual to see him not at his very fastest early on in a match, but I expected him after the mid-game interval to suddenly come out and really inject pace, be much, not pace of shot,
10,
pace of
13.
movement.
2-Chong Wei, I think, he's the fastest player around the court, and when he really wants to turn it on, you know, and I expected exactly the same, Jill. But I think VITTINGHUS is actually playing a brilliant tactical game. He's not letting Chong Wei play his shots, and he's got a great defence, VITTINGHUS, and I think that's frustrating, 2-Chong Wei.
Yeah.
Service over. 14-10.
Yeah, just going for placement rather than power. Straight down the line, says to himself, come on, keep thinking. Calmly lets the shuttle go long.
11-14.
Definitely got to be a point in this game where 2-Chong Wei really turns the screw and shows VITTINGHUS what he's totally capable of.
12-14.
Well,
14 all.
3 errors in 3 rallies, 3 cheap points in essence to Lee-Chong Wei. I know it's awfully easy for us to say, Anthony, but I mean, this is the stage of the match where you have to have that mental discipline, that refusal to make an error, the refusal to let the shuttle hit the floor your side. Yeah, he's been given a lifeline.
Service over. 15-14.
It's turned into a bit of a scrappy affair at the moment. Most of the rally is being won by an error. This is, like you say, this is the key point of a match. Even though it's very, very close, it's from this point on that really matters, and this is where Lee-Chong Wei is normally so good. His focus level, his concentration will go up, and you'll see him really closing the door on his mistake count.
Well, there's no question he's fired up for this, is VITTINGHUS. Pushed it long. Well, may have made the error,
15,
but I suspect he was right to go for it.
He's definitely setting the tone for the match. He's letting Lee-Chong Wei know that he's here to play, and that is unnerving Lee-Chong Wei. And most people kind of, you know, give him a bit too much respect, and that's definitely not the case here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's called good. What a rally.
17-15.
Well, once again, I'm not sure Lee-Chong Wei was convinced by the final call, but what a rally. Every inch of the court was explored. No, I think that was a correct call. I think it was right.
On court, please.
Look at the reaction. Well, you talked about big points, crucial rallies. That was one of them.
That was brilliant rally all round. Lee-Chong Wei had VITTINGHUS all over the court, and yet he still digs deep. And definitely landed in, Jill.
Yeah, correct call by the line judge once again. The elevation on the jump smash there from Lee-Chong Wei.
16-17.
So casual around his movement on the defence there. Just brushes it back and then all of a sudden explodes from nowhere.
252. 156 miles per hour. That's
17.
a soft point.
It's just the thing you can't afford to do against somebody like Lee-Chong Wei. He's going to win enough points on his own. Never mind you sort of handing them to him.
Score 4, 20 seconds. Score 4, 20 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Well, It was an
18,
awfully short lift
17.
from Lee-Chong Wei, but VITTINGHUS just hit it straight down the middle, perhaps a sign of nerves. Rather than going for the lines there, he really should have put that away. Easy from up here, though, isn't it, Anthony?
Absolutely. Lee-Chong Wei is so good at diving to the sides that you almost think, you think you need to take him off guard and smash it straight at him. He's so good at getting down to the low ones, and he almost takes pride in diving, almost to make you feel bad about it.
Phenomenal. Well, to play
19,
a tight,
17.
tumbling net shot like that, Lee-Chong Wei, the precision. Oh, that's just marvellous. What composure and skill. 4 straight points. Well worked rally though from VITTINGHUS.
Service over. 18-19.
It's a fantastic angle. But it was a slight change of pace which brought it down a lot steeper from VITTINGHUS. But he's playing incredibly well. Lee-Chong Wei is so nonchalantly moving around the court though. He's so casual and relaxed. He knows he's a great player, and he almost doesn't need to go up that another gear, or at least doesn't feel as though he needs to.
Thank you.
Well, Lee-Chong Wei, so he looks relaxed, he looks easy. That to me is one of the signs of any great athlete in any sport. They make what is incredibly difficult seem effortless and so easy, and that really is Lee-Chong Wei personified. Oh, my word. Where on earth did that come from?
19 all.
Well, and again, 3 straight
20
points
game
from
points,
17-19 down to earn himself a game point here in the opening game against Lee-Chong Wei. How cool was
Service
that?
over. 20
Very cool.
all.
Seems to me, Jill, that there's a bit of a drift going towards Lee-Chong Wei here, and he knows as soon as the shuttle's hit a normal length that it's going to go out the back.
Of course, 20 all. We need extra points until there's a clear 2-point winning margin. Oh. Well, now
Service over.
a second
21
game point
20.
opportunity for Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS.
17-11.
Oh, that
Service
was a
over.
nervous-looking
21
shot.
all.
Never seemed to really follow the net shot through. Well, and there's the Danish fans. Oh, phenomenal. Lee-Chong Wei at his very best. Suddenly finds the
22,
range,
21.
finds the angle. And now, having survived 2 game points, he has a game point himself.
Game.
And the first time of asking, and the world #1, Lee-Chong Wei, 23-21.
23-21.
The umpire confirms it. And Lee-Chong Wei once again plays the big points so well. And there's confirmation. The opening game, 23-21. Tae Subok, singles coach, and of course there's Rashid Sadek.
Og så skal du blive ved med, at han har ikke lukket dig en eneste gang på nettet endnu. Så du må gerne, hvis du højt bruge nettet. Og hvis så kan du se, at han trækker frem, så skal du de gode overspillinger med igen. Okay? Når du saver ind til ham i baghånden fra din lige side, så spiller han den her ude i siden. Og med på at lige over. Ja, hvis du saver lige over, så spiller han lige over ude i siden her. Der må du gerne rykke lidt på at smide over mod hans baghånd, eller bare holde helt kort lige også. Bare du kommer rimelig højt på den. Han vil gerne spille de der lidt ud af. Okay? Så bliver det med at gøre banen stor for ham, fordi du har stået på.
So Klaus Poulsen, Danish coach, urging him, if he gets to the net first, to play the net shot. Don't lift it, because he says that's the danger. Also urging him to keep the angle of the smash rather than going from power. He's got to keep the angle.
Second game. Love all. Play.
Well, it was a tough old first game, wasn't it? Both players. Yeah. Well, that's how he ended the first. He's continued on, and Anthony, as if he really went to your script, because when the going got tough, he was even tougher on court, upped his pace of shots, really was superb.
That's what makes him such a great player. He does just casually kind of walk around the court a lot, and then all of a sudden, when he really needs to, bang.
2-love.
Yeah. How difficult is it for a player now like VITTINGHUS? You know, he's never played against Lee-Chong Wei before. That opening game, he was so desperately close. He had 2 chances actually to take that opening game. Having missed those chances, psychologically, what's he got to say to himself here?
This is the big challenge. You know, he's almost thrown away the first set, and that can be very, very frustrating. He needs to go away like he's doing now, take his time. You know, try and slow Lee-Chong Wei down. Lee-Chong Wei's got the bit between his teeth now. He's into the game, he's motivated, he's come out with some fantastic shots at the start of the rally.
Well, the umpire here is just calling for, I think, the tournament referee, and in turn will be calling for the tournament doctor, because I think that VITTINGHUS has got a little graze perhaps on his finger where he dived there, yes, and of course the rules of all sport now is that blood injuries must be treated immediately. It certainly won't stop him playing, but I can tell you he really is a tough man, a tough character. You can tell that by the way he plays.
He's a very, very passionate individual. He trains very, very hard. I mean, you can imagine back at home in Denmark, he's training against Peter Gader, and every day he's training against him, so he plays against world-class players day in, day out. Someone like Peter Gader is an incredible shot player, so what Hans-Kristian has to do on a daily basis is really grind out rallies, and you know, he's a very, very strong physical guy, and he brings that to the court. He's very passionate. You can always see the fist pumps are coming out, and you know, he's like a warrior on the court. Like you said earlier, he perhaps doesn't possess the biggest skills out there, but when it comes to heart, there's no one better.
Well, Dr. Ashwin Patel, the tournament doctor,
5-love.
fixed the running repairs. And it's interesting because his character on court, you talk about his fist pumping and, you know, what a fighter he is. And he's such a gentleman off court. He's always very quiet and very polite. It's like two different characters, the man off the court and the man on the court.
Yeah, he's the kind of player that all the other players like and respect off the court. You know, he is a very nice guy. I know a lot of the English competitors hold him in very, very high regard because he is such a nice guy. But that's the nature of sport. When you turn on and you start that match, you know, your opponent is the enemy and you have to take the game to them.
Absolutely. Well, Lee-Chong Wei has done precisely that. What a great start to this second game. 7-love lead already. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's a sign of his confidence, isn't it? Going for an outrageous shot and only just missing it. Once again, not full power, just clipping the racket header over the top of the shot, creating the angle. There's the deception.
Service over.
He's such a frustrating player to play against Lee Chong Wei. I would have absolutely hated playing. It just sort of, like I say, nonchalantly strolls around the court, and then all of a sudden he hits just the most outrageously good shot. I mean, he must be so frustrating to play against because you just don't know what he's going to do.
Like that one. There's Paulson. There's another one. He's doing exactly as his coach suggested he should, really going for the angles.
Absolutely. He's really changing the way he's playing at the moment. Very, very clever. And Lee-Chong Wei likes it when it's very, very hard at him. He's got probably the best defence in singles at the moment, and when it's coming hard at him, he can dive, he can showboat that little bit, and his confidence oozes. When you give him the angle, that's where he's not so good.
Service over, 9-6.
Sharp downward shot, gaining success for the Dane.
Service over, 10-7.
That was a fast drop, but really I'm not sure any player in the world would have got that one back.
He's just got so much deception. He looks like he's going to smash it, you know, possibly within an inch of the line every single time. and then he just rolls the wrist across the shuttle. Really deceptive, because it looks like every other shot that he plays. That's what makes him so tough to play against, is you really don't know whether you're coming or going when you play against him.
Trækker den bare lige før. Der må du gerne en gang imellem træde lidt frem, og så spille den hurtigt vinkel på kryds. Den behøver ikke skal helt over, men bare spille den, så han får en lidt længere løbetur. Så hvad på, jeg mener? Så er det vigtigt, du bliver ved med at tørre at spille i dybe hjørner. Du må gerne forsøge at blive dit net stadigvæk. Men du skal forsøge stadigvæk at spille.
Well, doesn't look as if he's too concerned. You use the word nonchalant.
11-7. Play.
4-point lead midway through the second game, having won the first.
12-7. Service over.
Yes, I definitely take your point, Anthony, about when VITTINGHUS doesn't put so much pace like this one. 2-Chong Wei having to impart pace himself on his defensive shot. He does struggle a little bit more, doesn't he?
Service over.
Comes up with something like that the very next rally.
13-8.
He's just so good when you hit hard at him. You know, the kind of training I've seen him do in the past is players firing the shuttle down at him as fast as he possibly can. He's very, very light, but he's got very, very strong legs. So he practices physically diving to the shuttles a lot of the time. So when you hit hard at him, it's what he's used to.
Service over. 9-13.
Of course, we should also make note of the fact that these two players yesterday, VITTINGHUS played his match first, his first round encounter, at a reasonable hour. And the reason I say that is because play last night, the last shuttle was struck
Service over.
at 2:54 in the morning, this morning. So almost 3 o'clock, and I know that 2-Chong Wei's match was very late into the evening. And I can't help but wonder, he doesn't look to me as sharp as I would expect to see him. But I think that's understandable, given the fact that he had a very late night last night because of the lateness of all the matches.
It can be very, very difficult. You know, the schedule of a day obviously can get put back by a lot of matches going to 3 throughout the day. But 2-Chong Wei can play in this manner. You know, he doesn't always have to play that 100 miles an hour every single rally. I think he's probably the only player in the world can actually do that. Very relaxed, very, very confident player. Knows he's going to go through this round, and he can just take the foot off the gas a little bit.
Ooh, I'm glad you're that confident. I know for a fact that VITTINGHUS, of course he's never beaten 2-Chong Wei before, but I really do rate him. He hasn't had the attention because, of course, all the attention going to Peter Gader, and of course Denmark have got a youngster, Victor Axelsen, former world junior champion, who's coming up, and everybody's been talking about that. I've seen this man VITTINGHUS push the very best, the very distance.
12-14.
Definitely a great player. You know, he's very, very passionate. You can clearly see that he wants it. You know, wants to be one of the best players in the world. But he's up against a man here today that is just oozing confidence.
Yeah.
You know, whether you say it's him or Lin Dan, who's the best player in the world, there's no doubt that the pair of them together are the best players by, well, I would say quite some way. And he is causing him problems.
Yeah.
13.
God variation til den lige.
Now, just 1 point the deficit, and when you consider that 2-Chong Wei got off to a flyer in this second game, raced to that 7-love lead. What great fighting spirit from VITTINGHUS. No, 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 that's not possible, surely. Come on, man. Bit of effort. Well, that is absolutely tremendous.
15-13.
That just says everything about Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS. Willing to put himself through hell to win one rally. I mean, 3 times on the floor.
Yeah, and what a wonderful sporting gesture, because his head actually hit the bottom of the net, and therefore while he was lying on the floor he raised his racket and tapped the net just to make the umpire very aware that he had already caused a fault there.
Yeah.
And isn't that nice to see? I mean, we see so much in badminton now, arguments over whether to change a shuttle or not, players not ready to receive serve when they, in all intents and purposes, to me, look as if they are ready. To see that sort of sportsmanship is just wonderful.
It is definitely nice to see. Of course, you know, it's an incredible rally of quality all over the place. I mean, Lee Chung Wei's dictating every shot in the rally there. Vittinghus diving around the court, and it is just, you know, he is such a great guy that he wouldn't use sort of dodgy tactics to win a match.
No, he is a perfect gentleman off court and on. Well, I think there's signs that Lee Chong Wei is just a little bit tight at the moment.
Definitely lost some concentration over the last sort of 5 or 6 points. He's made some uncharacteristic errors that you wouldn't normally see from him. So certainly allowed his opponent back into the game.
Emphasises my point. And the Dane, remarkably, oh look, more war wounds. It's all that elbow, no skin left on it. He won't worry about that though.
No, I think all of the singles players out there go through this kind of thing on a regular basis. They know they're going to have to throw themselves around the court. They're covering, oh, that looks nasty. They know they're covering so much court that they have to dive.
Well, having got back level,
16,
you cannot
15.
afford to think that the hard work is done. Losing a one-time 7-point deficit to get back level at 15 all, and then makes really a rather simple error. And there's a second.
17, 15.
There's a third. Yeah, he's not happy with himself. That's understandable. Yeah, a little shake of the head. Once the shuttle changed, Lee Chong Wei obliges. 3 points away from a place in the third round. The run of 3 points comes to an end.
16, 18.
Now or never, as far as Vittinghus is concerned. The moment of truth, and he responds so well.
17,
Just such a shame that he
18.
gave away 3 really, really easy points. I mean, he could well be in the lead now. Instead, he's still trailing, and Lee Chong Wei knows that. He knows that all he's got to do is really keep the shuttle in and, you know, of course, keep the quality very high, but his opponent's going to possibly give him a point.
An extraordinary cross-court net shot from Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS. Here it comes, looks, just turns that racket head at the last moment. And now it's all level once again. That's why it's, goodness me, what great judgment from 2-Chong Wei to leave that. Yeah, good call. Wide by a whisker. Found the line.
20, match point, 18.
Calm and collected in a crisis.
That's what makes him such a great athlete. You know, it gets to 18-all, no panic, leaves the shuttle that lands less than a centimetre out, and then just nails a cross-court smash onto the line. You know.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. There's a reason why he's world number 1. 2 match points. Yeah. Well, he won the opening game on his first game points. He's won the match on his first match points. Great respect and great sportsmanship between the two men. It was a fine, fine match. And for me, the rally of the tournament so far with Hans-Kristian VITTINGHUS diving twice in a rally, getting back shuttles that he had absolutely no right to get back. It has been a fantastic run for the Dane, who prior to this had never been in the main draw of the All England. Fantastic. But there, 2-Chong Wei, the two-time defending champion, safely through to the quarterfinal, 23-21, 21-18. So as he takes leave of the courts, as I say, he's safely through to the quarter-final stage. And of course, he will play against Rumbaka of Indonesia. What a run the Indonesian has had, because he beat Du Pengyu in the first round. And then, as you can see, in the second round, disposed of the number 6 seed Sho Sasaki of Japan. So it'll be 2-Chong Wei against Rumbaka of Indonesia in that quarterfinal. Other top half of the draw there, you can see that Lee Hyun-il is safely through. He's already beaten Mark Zwiebler of Germany. One place yet to be filled in the top half of the draw.